Hey everyone. Okay, so big thing to start off with this episode is, as expected, it is the final episode in the Red Cave arc, leaving us with 8 to 9 episodes left in this season. And knowing this has definitely left me pondering, because while I definitely feel a little bit better going into Foresta now, having a greater idea of where I think this season might end up, and upon revisiting a couple chapters in the Foresta arc, I also realized a lot of what that opening is teasing out does happen within the more early to mid segments of the arc. So 8 to 9 episodes is actually going, I think, is more than enough to honestly, especially since I imagine the pacing from here is probably going to start picking up speed a bit. Like, I think the only reason that they slowed the Red Cave arc down is specifically so they could actually go full in on adapting Foresta, because while it definitely had its slow bits on paper, I imagine the pacing of the anime with in regards to this arc is going to be way faster. The only thing honestly that I think I still am kind of pondering and questioning right now is the Sandra arc tease in the opening. Because for me that's kind of the part of this I'm still questioning in regards to whether or not we're even gonna make it to Sandra, even if it's by the end of the season. Like, are we just gonna how like, it's one of those things where I question how if we're still gonna get a little bit of the Sandra arc, how long is the Foresta arc gonna be? How many episodes is it gonna be? That kind of thing. But okay, putting all that aside, obviously the more emotional core of the episode itself is Nadia and her learning about Andrew, the love of her life's death, but that even though she's dead, he's still in his own way still succeeded very much in bringing the relic back and bringing life back to Red Cave. And being honest, when I first read this in the manga, I didn't think much of it, but revisiting it now, there is honestly a real powerful message about grief, loss, love, just grief and loss of the ones we love, but just appreciating just the fact that we love them at all. And even though the target of this lesson is Nadia and her moving on with her life beyond this point now, like knowing he's dead, just knowing what I know, I also like to think this is a lesson Shiki's kind of learning more indirectly, especially since he himself just experienced that feeling all over again with what happened at Granbull. To that end, I also like how Witch kind of takes the lead in this moment of telling Nadia the straight truth, and even going so far as reprimanding Rebecca for keeping it a secret. Like, I hate to say it, but Witch is kind of right. Keeping it a secret that someone's loved one is dead isn't really kindness. It's just straight up cruelty. And for as cruel as it might seem in the moment of just telling her straight up that she's dead, and for as much as again Nadia was grieving, it was necessary in order for her to move on with her life. But even though she was still probably grieving, she still took absolute comfort in the fact that in Witch's words of realizing, yeah, I might have lost him, but I can take comfort in the fact that I found someone that I love, kind of thing. Like, it's corny, it's cheesy, but honestly, the way it works here really, really fucking works. Like, even more so than I thought I did. Like, this is definitely one of those moments in the anime this is definitely one of those moments from the manga that the anime does actually kind of really kind of take full advantage of. Like, the anime really adds a whole lot to this, honestly, in my opinion. But okay. With that said, the episode pretty much, I guess starting from the beginning though, the episode starts off with Nadia putting our heroes through a trial to find the Mother Beacon, with them more or less failing the first attempt, but then Witch coming in clutch by bringing in an unexpected ally to help, Laguna, one of Draken's former Element 4, which, right out of the gate, on top of it being great to see Laguna again, it is one of those moments where, again, upon revisitation, a lot of this initial introduction in its own weird way, kind of plants the seeds for what is to come with his character. Like, just the interactions he has with all the other members of the Eden Zero crew, like, it is very subtly kind of planting certain seeds that we're going to see later on in the story, because, yes, not lying, Laguna actually gets his own character arc in the series from here. It's going to take a little bit longer, because it kind of does tie back to a little brief conversation between Witch and Laguna, of Laguna saying, "I'll do this as long as you keep your promise." Like, it's that promise that's probably the most important thing. That sets him on the path that we're going to see now. That being said, if I was critical of anything in this episode, I think I did prefer how the Laguna segments were handled in the manga more than the anime, because while the latter does an amazing job adapting the panels to screen again, really making the colors pop, it does feel like there's a little bit less build-up and fanfare in this episode for Laguna in regards to, like, the impact of Laguna's involvement, if that makes any sense. Like, it doesn't feel as... I guess it just doesn't feel as emotionally powerful as it did when reading this in the manga. And I think it kind of comes down to the fact that the anime does naturally go at a faster pace than the manga, for better or for worse. So it probably wasn't going to be as emotional regardless. On a smaller note, though, I like how we do get confirmation from Laguna that the Element 4 also served as secondary purpose to Drac and Joe, as they weren't just his soldiers, but they were just as much a lifeline that helped maintain his life force just as much as the machine did. And yeah, obviously the other thing to talk about is the whole thing is we get a major meeting between Mother and Shiki, where we learn that the Mother Beacon is actually one of the several relics that will mark a pathway towards Mother. And again, on the manga front, this is something I'm hoping gets addressed next chapter, because being honest with every anime only watching this little plot point isn't going to be brought up again for a while. Like, again, it's going to be subtly brought up here and there within certain moments through the story and objects other characters own. But as far as being, like, directly addressed, yeah, this is what I was talking about in terms of plot points not being addressed for a long while. Like, realistically, in regards to the anime timeline and whatnot, this probably won't become relevant again until conceivably season 4 of the anime. So for any anime onlys curious about what this means, you'll be waiting a long time, waiting a long while in order to get your answers, unless you start reading the manga. Now, I will say, in regards to the reveal of the treasure lost to Red Cave, how it was the thing that helped to power the robots, and seeing it return, it is one of those things that does make me curious how much the treasure itself might play a part in terms of what is going to be revealed in the manga chapter to come. Because, again, with the ability to maintain the life force of machines, there's got to be there's got to be something there, like, especially if it's possibly a treasure that's linked to Mother. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. From on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll. Be sure to notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just everyone, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, everyone.